What's going on, Colts Nation? Appreciate you joining me for another video where in this one we're going to talk a little bit about the defense, some moves that I think we should make with cut down day coming up. Obviously, decisions have to be made. By the time you're seeing this video, those decisions may have been made. I'm making this video right around 7 o'clock here on Sunday night, and at this point, so far the Colts have not announced any roster cuts, so still waiting to see what's going to happen there. But there's some things that I think need to be talked about, and one position of need, maybe at this point, the biggest position of need is going to be in that safety position, right? I guess you could probably enter in linebacker into that, right? The opposite linebacker from Zaire Franklin. But I think in terms of Lou Anarumo's defense, looking for somebody that can kind of play that tweener role is going to be very important with Hunter Wooler missing the season. Now, I've kind of mentioned yesterday during the video that, hey, maybe Daniel Scott could be that. He had a couple interceptions during the preseason. One obviously gets taken away due to a penalty, but nonetheless, being able to get his hands on the ball, being able to read the quarterback and react. A lot of people liked him coming out of college, coming into the NFL. There were a lot of people that really liked that pick from the Colts. So coming into this season and looking at what we have, you look at who we expect the fourth safety to be is going to be Rodney Thomas. So, of course, you don't really want him to touch the field, but if he has to, that's the way it'll go. So can we add something to the secondary to help us out with that? Right now, also with that, you have to wonder, is there still a possibility that we're going to end up getting Trey Hendrickson? Now, I did see something where Trey Hendrickson put on Instagram just a picture of himself, and it says Proverbs 21:31 and quid he pay like that, which obviously could have a completely different meaning, but somebody looked it up. I actually believe it was Seth Erskines. Looked this up, said the horse is made ready for the day. On horses and victory, Proverbs 21:31. So something about horses, right? And of course, we've been linked to Trey Hendrickson. So is there, is this a situation where there's smoke, there's fire? I'd be interested to know exactly what's going on there. It's Sunday. Very easily could have just went to church and had a thought, right? Could have been something they went over in church. Who knows? But nonetheless, I did think that was very interesting. Interesting that Quiddy Pay like that one and was able to see it. So I'm thinking if we can get both these guys, that'd be incredible. Now, this is a situation where it's, do you get your cake and eat it too? Right? One of those situations. And how much would you have to give up? Now, seemingly for Kyle Duggar, with the way his contract is, 4 years, $58 million, $14.5 million a year for a safety. That's not going to be playing on his team, basically. So it just seems like the writing's on the wall. They're shopping him. He's not going to cost much in the trade. That's just a simple fact. Maybe even a 2027 draft pick instead of 2026, which would then help if you still wanted to get Trey Hendrickson. It would help in trying to be able to get him. And I'd be interested to know, right, if you're going to include a player, who would that player be? Going over to Cincy, right, so that you're not giving up all draft capital if you do want to go and get Duggar as well. So this is a complicated situation. Now, obviously, if you're going to pick one or the other, in our situation, it would be the one that costs less. Right, you go and get Kyle Duggar, add him to a room that sorely needs him, a guy that has plenty of starting experience, a guy that's had good time in the NFL now. This is a guy that's also had some beef with Michael Pittman Jr. in the past, but you'll have that in a Colts versus Patriots game. And you'll also have that with Pitt. He's a dog. He just doesn't really take anything from anybody. But nonetheless, like, again, if you had to pick one, you're going to pick Kyle Duggar. I feel like that most people will say that with the guys that we have on the pass rush, right? Obviously, the depth that we have on the defensive line, drafting JTT, getting Sampson back this year. Like, honestly, as we went through the 53-man projection video, like, there are tough decisions that are going to be had on that defensive line. So I just think Kyle Duggar is the most obvious answer in this situation, but I also think you're in a situation where both of our quarterbacks, right? Didn't matter which one was going to start. Both of our quarterbacks have had a tendency in their career to be volatile, right? And there's certainly an argument to be made. Daniel Jones is more stable, so we could win games. And for all the people, oh, we're never going to win with Daniel Jones, we were terrible last year when we won 8 games. We won 9 games with Gardner Minshew. Like, I really highly doubt the roster being better now than it has been in each of the last 2 years that we're going to take a step back. I just doubt that happens. I'm sorry. If your argument is somewhere lies in the we're going to be worse category, like, by all means, feel free to comment what you think. I'm almost certainly not going to believe what you say, just because the roster is better. You look at the roster we have this year compared to years past, the roster is better. And so theoretically, we should win more games. Our defensive coordinator is better. Theoretically, we should win more games. So if you're trying to win even more games and you're trying to help your offense out as much as humanly possible, which the defense absolutely has not done over the past few years, you go and get another edge rusher in Trey Hendrickson. Then who's out? Probably Kwity Paye. Maybe Samson Ebicom. He's in the last year of his deal. Cheaper deal, coming off an injury. That might be a little difficult. You're still going to have to give up draft capital. Either way, you're going to give up draft capital. But, really, Kwity Paye getting more money this year on his 5th-year option. He's probably the better option there in terms of a trade. Doesn't have to be an edge rusher is what the Bengals said, so it could be a different position, but they certainly need defense, and that's really where we have a plethora of riches is on the defensive line. So I just think you trade edge rusher for edge rusher, add in some picks or, a pick or two in there somewhere, get Trey Hendrickson, give up a late round draft pick, maybe even, 7th rounder in 2026, and then a 6th rounder in 2027, whatever it may be, to go get Kyle Duggar, but then you have to take on his contract as well. Now, what would be ideal is if nobody trades for Kyle Duggar, and then he ends up getting dropped, and then we can pick him up. That would, of course, be the most ideal situation, because then he's probably going to get a cheaper contract, probably a 1-year prove-it deal somewhere, like, hey, let me come in, make some money. Would somebody give him a starting opportunity right out the gate? I'd be interested to see that. But I think coming in, he could be a very valuable asset, Kyle Duggar could, to this lineup. When you talk about the 6 DB sets that Lou Anarumo will roll out there, Kyle Duggar, especially for his size, is somebody that is very physical, somebody that's a bit of a junkyard dog. Reminds me a lot of like the safety version of Kenny Moore, right, who, of course, started his career with the Patriots as well. So I think getting both of those guys would make what should be a much improved defense, like a for sure top tier defense. It would give us more depth in that secondary as well, being able to get to Kyle Duggar. And again, if you bring both of these guys in, tough decisions are going to have to be made on who else is going to be the odd man out. But at the end of the day, if you can make both of these things happen, you get a guy who's led the league in sacks each of the last 2 seasons, and you get a guy who, for his position, has been one of the better at his position in the NFL during his time in New England. Like, I'm not sure what it is really that New England is seeing in him that they don't want him to be a starter there. I don't know what's really changed, in the new scheme and whatever it may be there. He's played a lot in the preseason games. I know he had a surgery, and him coming back from that surgery, maybe that plays a factor into it. Not really sure everything that goes into it, but I do know that both of these guys would be welcome assets, at least for me, welcomed assets. Hopefully you don't have to trade for Duggar, and then we can trade for Trey Hendrickson. That situation is still very much up in the air. So you guys let me know what your thoughts on all this. Really nothing else to say about it. Going to keep running in circles on it. So you guys let me know your opinion. Would you want one of them? Would you want both of them? Which one would you prefer? What should we give up for each of them? Right? What would that look like to you? And what do you think would happen with the team if we were able to get these guys? You let me know your thoughts on this whole situation down in the comment section. I love hearing from you guys. And, of course, if you enjoy the content, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we drop any content on this channel. Of course, appreciate you stopping by for another video. And, as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.